All right. Okay. Finally, are you really serious about this, Frank? You really want to do this?
Come on. We've been over this.
Frank, all right, listen, we're going to humor the man tonight, all right? Next up, coming to the stage, is Frank Gummen speaking on the Hosewater Hoedown, a beloved Hosewater tradition that has been going on for 137 years. I don't know what you think you're going to change, Frank. Go ahead.
Hello. I want to first say I'm not the enemy here, okay? I do enjoy the Hosewater Hoedown. It's one of my favorite times of the year. And I'm sorry. Don't get talk in front of people very often. I'm very nervous. But I want to say that I do care about the Hosewater Hoedown. Every summer I look forward to it. It's my favorite event of the year. You know, who could deny a 3-day festival in the center of town, the beautiful Hosewater? A time full of several fun events for us all to participate in. It's fantastic, and I love all those events. I'm a big fan of the mop races. I love the dry t-shirt contest, and of course, who could deny the finale of the entire weekend, the Hosewater Hoedown, where we snap and clap and hoot and holler until we get too hot, and we walk out to the edge of town, and we jump into Puddle Lake, which is 1 mile from the center of town. I'll tell you, I love the Hosewater Hoedown. But there is one certain event I do want to talk about today, okay? It's the Hosewater Hoedown. Now, easy now. I am a fan of the Hosewater Hoedown. Now, for those of you who have not been lucky enough to see it, the Hosewater Hoedown is the finale every year on the second night where citizens of our community take their horses and teach them choreographed dances. And they do a little dance for us. And it's fantastic. I will say that. It is fantastic. I really enjoy it. Ms. Perkins, your performance last year blew my mind. I swear to God, it was a daring rendition of Nutcracker. But the piece I want to talk about is the costumes on the horses. Now, I want to keep them. I'm not trying to remove them. I'm a big fan. I think that a lot of work is put into them, and they're very fantastical costumes. I think it's the most important part of the show. A costume like that turned a clip clopper into a showstopper, I'll tell you. It literally makes the show. I am not trying to take that away, and I'm not trying to change anything. We're 137 years into this, and it is very important to me. I just think some adjustments can be made to those costumes. Now, can I get the next slide here? You see a normal, fantastic horse. It looks great. But let's go to the first one. Okay, now we're looking here. I'm hearing oohs and ahs. It's a fantastical costume. It's got a lovely yellow scarf to accent it. I think it's beautiful. But I think that we're a very inclusive community. And I think we have to think about that. Certain members of the community, members of the community whose wives left them not 2 weeks ago, might just see the way that dress falls over the curves of that body, and they might just get kind of confused, you know? It's perfectly natural, and there's nothing weird about it. I just think it would make certain members of the community very confused. I mean, look how close that, or how far that skirt is from the hooves. I just think for certain members of the community, that would be, go to the next slide. Okay, perfect. Okay, so looking at something like this, it's not, you look at it right away, and it looks like it's a fantastic dress. You see this perfect necklace on it, and it's really great, but as a community, I just think that there's certain members around. It could be anybody here. I'm not trying to name names, but maybe a daisy yellow dress like that might be similar to the dress someone's wife was wearing the day they took their daughter by the hand and said, "I'll be back tomorrow," and then still hasn't been back for 2 weeks. So to see how that could create some strange curves on the body of a horse, you can see how that would be just very confusing. If you know what I mean. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, this is good. So this is an outfit that's not inherently confusing. So an outfit like this, it's a gardener's outfit with some frills on it. But, you know, frills like that might remind certain members of the community of an apron, a previous lover or a current lover, status you're not really sure about. It could remind them of that apron and really confuse them. And a gardener like that, I mean, you know, maybe some members of the community have a garden that's been withering away at the same rate as their marriage. And seeing a horse with an exposed rump like that could just be confusing. It could just be very confusing for those people. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, no, that shouldn't. Oh, boy. No, next slide. Next slide! Okay, so what I have, I think there's certain costumes we could do differently. I think different things could happen here, and next slide. I think this is a wonderful outfit. It looks very comfortable for the horse. It's very modest, and it's not as confusing to anybody in the room. Can we go to the next slide? Now, this is an even better option. I think it's perfect. There's no form. There's no unnecessary, confusing curves anywhere in there. It is just a horse. Although now that I'm looking at it, the hole near the head is just... It's very confusing. I'm not suggesting anything to change that. I just think that maybe we could make some adjustments to those outfits this year and make it easier on certain members of the community. And that is all I have to say. Thank you so much for listening to my speech.